to own it. Just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here. Oh, we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you.
Thank you for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me. This is an honor.
Well, I think it's super cool you got this book published. So how long was this in the making?
So this one specifically, I started around the end of COVID when things were kind of winding down, the world was opening back up. But I've taken a lot of time on this one because it took a lot of research, which people don't really think about when you think fantasy. But kind of doing the backstory and trying to be faithful to the genre, the fantasy genre. Some fantasy novels can be really like hokey, and I didn't want it to be that way. I kind of wanted to honor the greats like Tolkien and C.S. Lewis, and create a whole world instead of just kind of a two-dimensional
Then that does take a lot of work.
Yeah. So there was a lot of research with like the names in the book all come from either Celtic mythology or Germanic, like a Germanic background, Scandinavia. They all mean something. So I was very intentional in how I named the characters and gave their name meaning.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So when did the idea first pop in your head?
So I was reading my kids a really pretty version of Beauty and the Beast, written by a woman named Mercer Mayer. And I kind of got the idea when, at the end of Beauty and the Beast, we all know the story. He turns back into a handsome prince, and
you just killed it for
I know, surprise. Yeah, really. But my thought process went to, what if he didn't become a prince again? What if he stayed a beast? What would have happened? Right. Would Beauty or Belle have stayed with him? Would she have still loved him?
They're almost a little Phantom of the Opera.
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, yes, because that's my favorite musical. And so that's kind of where the idea started. This is very much kind of has like a lot of Beauty and the Beast in it, where the male protagonist is kind of an outcast because of who he is and what he does. She's also an outcast because she's different from everybody else. And so the idea that, do you love somebody because of how they look or who they are or where they come from, or do you love them because there's a connection with the person? And that's kind of like one of the themes that is explored. And that's where the idea came from, from Beauty and the Beast.
And all of this in a whole other world had to be created for that.
Right, there you go. Yeah, of course. It'd be boring if it was just in the real world.
Okay, so what are the plans for this?
So we are marketing. We are trying to get it out there as much as possible. I've actually got 2 magazines that are doing articles that should be released within the next week or so.
It's not one and done.
It's not one and done. No.
I know that there's more coming.
There's it's not actually a sequel, but I am going to do, I kind of was known for doing historical fiction and then got challenged to do a fantasy. They're like, well, what if?
I don't think it's that far off, right? It was a lot of research. There's just like a historical fiction.
Exactly, a lot of research for historical fiction too. And so there will be another fantasy also about a vampire. But set more in like the world of pirates and the high seas instead of like a mythical world.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the plan for like the next book.
So this is the first fantasy you've ever
This
written.
is the first fantasy I've ever written. Yeah. Hence probably why it took so long, because I was.
It was out of your wheelhouse.
It was out of I'm like, I don't know. I'm good with like dates and places, not so much like other worlds. And then I'm actually doing the final edits for a screenplay based on this book.
You have to when you make another world.
No, and this is my first screenplay, so that's been a whole challenge.
That is hard.
It's like writing a different language.
It is.
It was like so stressful. And then we'll just see where that goes.
You didn't want to work with somebody that wrote screenplays?
I had somebody, I wrote the initial screenplay, the initial draft. I sent it off to somebody who had really good reviews. The screenplay came back and they had taken out whole scenes. And I get that that's part of the process,
Okay.
but this person, I don't understand really like what they were doing. They took out like scenes that were pivotal to the story. Like if the scene wasn't in the story, then the story didn't make sense. So that's why it's taken so long to kind of edit it. I'm having to go back and fix it.
That's really good though that you're thrilled because people know.
Yeah.
So they were really recommended as well, but they were taking up too much.
Like 5-star review and everything, and yeah.
Did you tell them? Like
I did. I was very upset.
Well,
they gave me a refund, so that was nice.
But did they give you a reason of why they took stuff out?
They thought that it wasn't like pertinent to the story, and I had to like explain like something that I wrote, which was kind of funny. I was like, but you see, like if this doesn't happen, if they don't go there, or
then how does this happen?
Yeah,
later?
Yeah. Like there's this the whole premise of the story is based on a prophecy, and they completely omitted the prophecy out of the plot line, so it made like no sense. Like, yeah, it was fun.
Wow. That is so interesting.
Yeah.
And so I love hearing the process of this. And people just don't know, you know?
Yeah, it's not just, I mean, I think like movies especially, you know, the writer is depicted as somebody who just kind of sits down and just comes up with something. And it's much more complicated than that. Because, you know, even once you have the story completed, it's finding an editor, finding a platform to publish it on, promoting it.
How did you find your publisher?
So I've worked with KDP Publishing, which is kind of like a subsidiary of Amazon. They publish exclusively on Amazon, and they have people who will format the book for you. They will edit it for you. If you want a cover designed, they'll do that for you as well.
So it's kind of like self-publishing.
Self-publishing, yeah. You get to keep a good % of your royalties.
Oh, that's good.
With it. And then you're on Amazon, which is, you know,
you want to be
where else would you want to be?
Who else?
Yeah. The other prominent like self-publishing company is Ingram Spark, but I mean they're not Amazon, so just go with Amazon. You know.
Go with Amazon. And so, what are some of your other like historical fiction works? Where can we find that at?
So everything is on Amazon, and then I have my own website, which
that's where we need to go.
Yeah, it's just my name, LeslieAnnLee.com, and but I think, the historical fiction's on there. I did a kind of contemporary piece as well. That's on there. And then I also did a children's book, and that's on there.
What's the children's book about?
The children's book is about a little girl who is an orphan. She's living in an orphanage, and all she wants for Christmas is a mom and dad. And she has this overactive imagination, kind of like me. And so throughout the course of a year, she wishes on fireworks during the 4th of July instead of a wishing star that she has a mom or a dad by Christmas. She talks to the Easter Bunny. She has an imaginary conversation with Tom Turkey. So like you go through all the holidays, and kind of the parallel story to her, you know, wishing and asking and having these conversations with holiday-related characters and whatnot is the lady who runs the orphanage is actually going through the process to find her a parent or parents. And so by Christmas...
don't tell us the ending.
Well, by Christmas...
She gets a happy ending.
She gets a happy ending.
Well,
Yeah.
You might get a bad reaction if you have a not good feel good.
Yeah. You have a little orphan girl that needs to be adopted, and she stays in the orphanage.
Forever.
Yeah, but at the end, sad story. Yeah. So, and that was quite a fun experience writing that book, because I got to work with a really talented artist in the Ukraine before everything started to go south.
That
with
is
Ukraine.
so cool.
So
how did you find?
I found her on Fiverr. It's like Upwork.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
and it was just because I can't draw to save my life. And
yeah, usually most people find an illustrator.
Yeah, no, I mean you'd be getting stick figures. So
Yeah.
So I kind of just went through like different artists on Fiverr and really liked her stuff. I knew the kind of like look that I wanted, and like I think for like a year. And this was in the middle of COVID, so I was at home with my 2 kids. This was how I kind of kept myself going, was writing this story, and then she would create the illustrations based on the text that I sent her.
Wow.
And we came up with this book. So yeah, it's called Let the Magic Grow.
So that seems like that would have been a challenge for you as well.
Uh-huh. Yeah, because that was also out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And my husband, actually, of all people, was like, you should, like, here's an idea, you should, like, run with this. You should do a kid's book. And I'm like, that is, like, what? Like, that is not me at all. But again, I have 2 wonderful children, and I'm adopted, and I have a niece and nephew that are adopted. So it hit really close to home. So I guess it made sense, like, in the end, to do this book. Yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
That adds like a special meaning.
Yeah.
Okay, so out of all of the stuff that you've done, do you want to stick in the fantasy for a while, or?
I think so. I kind of enjoy it. I like that there's really no parameters, you know? Like, if you do historical fiction, you better make sure it's historically accurate. Children's books, you obviously can only write about certain things. You know, you have to keep it G or PG. That makes sense. But then, like, with fantasy, there's rules, but then really there's not. It can be pretty much anything, you know? You can be on a mountain with a fire-breathing dragon. You can be, I don't know, fall in love with a mermaid, because it just all makes sense, you know, if it's in the world of fantasy. So I like that. I don't like having rules and boundaries. I never have, so it kind of makes sense for me.
So this takes place current day then?
I mean,
or just like a parallel universe?
Like kind of like a parallel universe.
Okay.
There is no real set time. I mean, in the human world, they're living in villages on farms, so I guess maybe not current times. I guess it could be. But there's no like set, like it's not like 2024 or like 1897. There's no set time. So use your imagination. It can be whatever you want it to be.
So what is the age group for this?
I'll go back to my kids. My daughter's 12 and she's read it. So it's acceptable for her. I try to, usually with all my books, I want it to be something that if my children were to pick it up, they wouldn't be scarred for life. But I want it to be, entertaining enough for an adult to read. So kind of like that happy medium where, because I mean, all my books, there's romance. It's not necessarily excessive romance, but there's a nice good dose of it. So. And
I love that you said you fell in love with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, because I did too, yes. And that was one of my favorite books. So that's how you started the journey.
That was actually one of my earliest memories of reading was my mom and I sitting on our faded blue couch in a really, really bad area of town where I grew up, and that was the first book she read to me was Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and I was hooked. I've been hooked ever since then on reading and writing. So I give credit to my mom.
So what book is this for you of all your publications? How many?
This is my 6th book. And then I've done a lot of like poems and opinion, like op-ed pieces, essays, short stories. So I love to write. I nearly didn't graduate high school because I was in the library writing, ditching my classes. So, true story.
True writer, oh my goodness. So you're not going to do a sequel, but something else in the same universe?
Something in the same genre, same universe, just different characters.
People. I like that. Yeah. So if people like the world, they can...
Yeah, exactly. And if they hate it, I mean, maybe they'll fall in love with it the second time around.
Yeah, so this story for these characters end, but the world will keep going on.
Yes, yeah.
That is so cool. Oh my goodness. So do you have the next one? I'm sure you have it in your head.
Next one's in my head. It actually came out of, I had a really good friend who really helped me finish this one. I was really struggling, just kind of not, I don't know, like I wanted to finish a story and I knew where it wanted to go. I think I was having trouble believing in myself and my writing ability. And
because it was out of your...
It was out of my comfort zone. I was just like always second guessing myself. And so we would have these long conversations about what I should do with the characters and how it should work out. And it was through all those conversations that the next book came about. Like we were like, well, I should do something with pirates. Like, why not? Everybody loves pirates.
I love pirates.
Yes. I mean, absolutely. So I'm like, oh, that's such a good idea. And then what if he's also a vampire? And so, yeah.
Wow, that is so cool.
Yeah, and that's usually how my book ideas come about. It's just like this random little seedling that's planted.
And then it turns into something totally different, huh?
Yep, and it just kind of explodes. You kind of run with it because you have to.
So how long has this been out?
Since like the 3rd week of October, I think.
So what's the responses that you're getting? What's the reception that you've heard?
The people that I've talked to that have read it love it. They love specifically I get a lot of comments about like the imagery in the book.
That's so important when you have another world.
Yes.
And that's why we like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, because of that.
Yes.
So you need to be able to keep that.
I love trying to kind of find the balance between giving enough description for readers who kind of lack imagination, like they love to read but they have trouble visualizing what's going on, and then not too much for the people whose imaginations just go. And from what I've heard, there's a good balance, which is that's what I want to hear.
Do you get compared to other writers? Who have you been compared to?
I have been compared to, of all things, Charles Dickens. Again, with not with this.
Well, the orphan thing, that theme.
The orphan thing is a very big theme for him, but then like the way that he describes in his books, he does like these lengthy descriptions, and he's very like precise and in depth. There's a book, I want to say it's either Great Expectations or A Tale of Two Cities, where he takes about 3 pages to describe a door, and that's kind of like me. Like, I'll take as much time as I need to describe something so that the image gets across to the reader.
Right.
So yeah, Charles Dickens. My father told me I wrote like Tolkien. That's a very biased opinion, so I can't take that, and run with it. But I appreciate it. But again, it's my dad, so it's a biased opinion. Stephen R. Lawhead. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's also kind of a fantasy fiction writer who did a lot about, like, he did a King Arthur series, and then a series that was kind of set in mythical Scotland. And so, yeah, I've been compared to him, which is a huge compliment because he's like one of my favorite authors. So, yeah, I'll take it. I mean, this book so far hasn't really gotten a negative response or a negative opinion, so that's nice. Because some of my other ones have. So. Oh,
really? Yeah. What was the worst thing you heard?
Worst thing I ever heard was I had somebody told me that one of my historical fiction pieces was like something that they would read while having breakfast at IHOP. I don't know what that means. I don't think they meant that as a compliment. I guess, if you like pancakes, maybe. But yeah,
it's an odd one. That's funny.
It's an odd one, and it was funny, and I was like, okay, like, thank you. I don't know. Maybe they were trying to be creative. I didn't take it that way. So
yeah, unless they really like pancakes.
Like with or without syrup, I don't know.
Well, that's fine. They didn't say they were getting a colonoscopy. It's not that bad.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they did not describe it as a colonoscopy. So but as somebody who is putting something out there, you have to be willing to take the good and the bad. And if you can't, then you probably should get out of whatever it is you're doing. So, and it's a growing process. If somebody had said that to me when I wrote my first book, I probably would have cried and given up. But I'm kind of seasoned now and hardened, and so if you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to read it. I don't care. So.
Well, this is so awesome. So we definitely got to go to your website to see. You're really active on telling us what's happening.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything, usually, I've kind of slacked off because I've been working on promoting this, but usually anything that I write is on there. So if you're not like into like reading books, I have a blog. If you're into like politics and op-ed, there's stuff on there for that.
And you're great at social media. That's all. That's how I kind of keep up with your books and stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
Social media is such a great tool.
So where do we follow you on social media?
It's at Lepie, Lepie.
Is that for Facebook and Insta?
21. Facebook, just type in my name. And I'm there.
But you're not your name on Instagram. You're Lepie.
Yeah, Lepie's like a nickname that I've had for years. It's short for leprechaun.
I hope you write about that one day, especially with St. Patty's on Sunday. Is write about leprechauns.
Right? Yeah. No. Well, and my first 2 books are set in Ireland, or Ireland and America, but with Irish ancestry, of course. So.
Wow, that's awesome.
Comes with the red hair.
Comes with the red hair. Well, I hope there's leprechauns that exist in this world one day.
Well, I will do my best to put them in there. or at least little people.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you so much,
And
Mark.
I look
It's an
forward to
honor.
reading your stuff.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on my show
Well,
today.
thank you for having me, Sparkle.
You have so much style. I love it.
Oh, thank you so much. So do you. So do I have to say.
And the homes you have up are amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, credit to Granville Homes, who I work for. They're Simi family, one of the biggest developers here in Central Valley, in Fresno. We do excellent work, although I do say so myself. I love who I work for, and I believe in the value that we bring to the housing market in Fresno. So thank you.
So you've been everywhere, and I like that because you bring some culture, because you grew up in Zimbabwe and then went to school in England.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yes. Oh gosh, I was so young. Yeah, so I'm from Zimbabwe, Southern Africa. We moved to England when I was a lot younger. That's where I went to school. I went to university in Finland, in Helsinki.
Wow.
Yes, I stayed in Sweden for a little bit, and now I'm here in California. So yes, I'm well traveled.
Well, and that's kind of important, because when you see homes, you can see, okay, that has a little bit there, this has that, and I like this over there, so can we do that? So I like that you kind of bring that here.
Well, it's really the international experience.
Right.
Being able to relate to different housing markets around the world. You've got the African perspective, then you've got the European, and now American. So I've been very, very lucky that I've been able to be in all of these great places, and everything adds to what I put on the table.
So when did you get into this?
So I had left my corporate job in England, decided to move to Zimbabwe to run my parents' company there. So got there, and real estate found me by accident. It was really by...
That's how we end up in a lot of places we do. That's fun.
It's really by association. Or if you know anything about real estate, it's relationships.
Right.
It's who you know. The power is really in your phone. So when I went back home, my mum owns a very public enterprise. So I'd get invited to every party that's happening in town. So I was a socialite at home.
I could see that.
And until some guy who owned Keenan Properties, Patrick Keenan, he's lovely. I miss you dearly, Patrick, if you're watching. Anyway, he called me and he said, hey, you could actually sell a house in all of these events that you go to. Why don't you start real estate? And I thought, you know what, I'll give it a go. I could sell a home at a party. And once I started, it was my true calling. I've never looked back since, and it's been nearly 15 years now.
What did you go to school
in the
for?
industry. So I did business marketing with languages.
Okay, but what was a corporate job you quit?
I was energy efficiency project manager.
Oh, okay. So it's not really that far of a leap. Yeah, you have a lot of different experience that you could bring.
At that time, I don't think we had advanced at the level that we have now with energy saving. At that time, it was kind of like a new idea, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it was great, but the transition that's had into real estate is absolutely much more substantial now. So it's a full circle for me. So it's a full circle for me. It's like, oh my God, and I end up selling homes.
And now you can tell us if our homes are energy efficient.
Exactly.
Some of these older homes need a lot of work to become that way, huh?
Well, let me tell you, Granville Homes is one of the very few builders that really go all the way to ensure that all of these homes are energy efficient. They're being built with the latest building technology available. I mean, the insulation is first grade. We put rebar in our concrete, so no cracking when the house is settling.
Okay, that's big.
So, so many things.
So you get to see things built from the ground up pretty much.
I do. And funny you should say that. It's one of my favorite bits about my job. Unlike the resale market where you're selling a home that's already ready, so the most you'd have to wait for it typically is 45 days for escrow. In my world, people come to see me, they're buying a home off plan. It's like, oh, Kevin, we want the Residence 7, and they pick all of their options, they pick the lot, and they see the home actually being, groundbreaking all the way to the day that I hand them the keys. So it's a process. It takes us 7 to 8 months to complete building a home. So you can imagine, you're almost part of the family by that time.
I bet.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
But I love it. I absolutely love it.
So what sets you apart from other realtors? This is a very competitive market, especially in the Central Valley, and I'm sure you've seen that.
Goodness, so competitive. And back at home is slightly different for me. As I said, if you are already launched in a certain world, business is almost coming to you.
Right.
But being here now, it's very competitive. You've got to get out there, and you've got to get the business. You've got to be known. I think what sets me apart is I'm reliable. I'm a grafter. We will get you that home, and we'll get you what you want in that home within reason. If it can happen, Kevin will get the deal for you. So I think being reliable, once you understand that real estate, you're really dealing with people's biggest investment in their lives.
You are, yeah.
That's the biggest asset that they have. Once you understand that, you don't joke around with it. Everything is serious to me, because I know for my clients, this is their money. This is the biggest investment. So I listen, I deliver, I'm diligent, and I'm reliable. It's very rare to find that in our industry where people are, chasing the check. How many listings do I have? Let's close the deal and get it done. And goodbye, here are your keys. For me, I make relationships, I make friendships. I meet people, and I still, meet them Trader Joe's or the supermarket, and they go, oh my God, hi Kevin, because it was the service delivery. We are friends at the end of all of this, and some of them friends for life.
Well, you had some disadvantages because you were the socialite over there, but you come here and you don't know everyone. You didn't go to school with somebody like yours, because people have those relationships. So you really got out there and started meeting people then.
I really did. I had to start from scratch.
Oh, you did?
I had to start from scratch. But again, I think if your values are in the right place, it will just happen so naturally. I think my track record in the time that I've been in America, which is 6 years, in real estate, now 4 years, I've done quite well, actually. And I think it's those values. I think if you have your heart in the right place, people will follow that.
So how did you get connected with Granville Homes?
So, oh gosh, good question. So, Darius Simi was known to some of my friends here in the Central Valley. Cummings family, Chris Cummings, Mona, all of those people. So I knew when I was looking at different developers that I wanted to be part of, okay? Granville was top of my list. I did have other options, but I really wanted to work with Granville after looking at the quality of their homes.
Yeah, you said top of the line efficiency.
Yes, and I wanted to align myself with that, because that's what I've been selling. So I looked around, and there was a handful of developers that are able or do deliver the standard that I want to sell sell and feel confident in selling. I mean, it's no joke. I don't have anything that's under 1.2 million, except from 1.2 going up. So I am looking for that value in that developer. That way I can sell it, right? So Granville was top of the list, and I applied for the job. It took Granville 2 months to call me with the job. So I was waiting for a long time, hoping that, they'll call me. I didn't know what was happening. Finally, the call came, and they said, look, come to Granville. And I think I made the right decision.
So they saw something in you, too.
Well, and I saw something in them.
That's a relationship, yeah.
Yes, it's a relationship. I certainly, I'm good at what I do, and I could not have been aligned with a better company that looks after me and a company that delivers, a product that I'm very, very proud to sell.
Do they, since you are well-traveled and you've seen different things, do they ever ask you for input when they are creating these new homes of like, should we go this route, that route? Are you involved in that process at all?
Sometimes, yes, sometimes. We do have a whole design team.
So they do get you involved a
sometimes,
little bit,
yeah, sometimes. Although my tastes can be a little bit out there. So you have to be careful with Kevin. I'm certainly the last person you want to trust with your credit card. I would go shopping, yeah. So, yeah.
But you've told them things were like, well, maybe next time this or that, or this could be a little bit better.
Oh, absolutely.
That's awesome.
And it's less me, because the markets are very different. Like you're saying, I've been doing this in different countries. So it's what the people of that market are saying. That's my duty. Okay, so I have to report back what people are saying.
Right, exactly.
So it's less about me, but it's more about what the Fresno market is saying to the developer. Hey, do we need an office in the home? Because a lot of parents are working from home these days. Then we take that feedback.
What are some of the changes that you've noticed in the past 4 years that you've been doing here that you notice that people want here?
Well, first of all, I just want to say, having come to Fresno, I have been absolutely pleasantly surprised with the change that I can say I've seen myself, within the 6 years that I've been here. And in my business, I talk to a lot of people who are buying homes to move to Fresno. There's been an incredible amount of talented people coming to Fresno.
Oh, yeah, because of the remotely. So that's what you're doing. You're selling people that are working over there in Northern California, but they need to live, they want to live here.
Absolutely, but that's going to go a very long way for Fresno. I tell you, I think Fresno is just not going to be the same Fresno that you've known in the next 10, 15, 20 years' time. I think we're undergoing a very silent but very strong transformation, in the city, and I certainly see that. Physicians, cardiologists, neurosurgeons, great talent coming to Fresno. So I've seen that transition happening.
Right.
So I'm excited for Fresno and what's on the horizon for Fresno. So that's the biggest change I've seen, people believing in Fresno again and coming here to buy homes.
So at what point should people get with you to buy a home? If they have something in mind, if they're like, at what people that are watching right now, what point do we get with you and say this is what we want?
Well,
you have to have a home that's at least, you said, in the budget.
Yes, of course. I mean, you have to get pre-approved. I think that's the first thing that I would say to people. And at Granville, we do all of that under one roof. Okay. So if you're thinking of buying a home, you've not been pre-approved, so you're unaware of what your buying power is going to be, come to us. We can look after you from the beginning of the journey all the way to the end when we give you your keys. So you're coming to us to get pre-approved.
Do you help people that are almost there but not really, or tell them what they got to do?
We have different communities. We try to cater for every buyer that we get in the Central Valley. Okay? So there's homes on the lower, medium, up, and then up. So we cater for everybody. There's different communities, you see.
Have you gotten people that were on the cusp and then say, hey, now you can do this and now you can get this? Have you been with them through that journey?
Oh, definitely. So we've had people that, perhaps bought a Copper River, a smaller home, I want to say under 3,000 square feet. Okay, so they've stayed in that home maybe 5-6 years' time. The family has grown. They've got 2 babies now. They need more space. They got promoted at work. They're earning a bit more. They've earned equity in that existing home. So now it's time to upgrade to my office, which is Granville Estates. So then they come to me, and I look after for them for homes that are about 4,000 square feet going up. So really, because we cater for all of different communities at different levels, you can progress, and I've seen a lot of that. And it's such a beautiful story when you're talking to former Granville or existing Granville homeowners who are now buying their first estate home, and they've been part of the Granville family for at least, 8 to 10 years.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, so that's really lovely. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then, so when we follow you, are you good on social media about showing us what's coming up, what you're working on the next?
I'm always on social media.
That's what I love about. But that's important when people aren't showing stuff. It's like, how do we know? We need to see. We're visual. We need to see what's happening.
Look, social media, not just for the real estate market, but for everything. I think that's really where we're going. And if you're anyone who provides any kind of service at all, you're going to have social media. It's just the way our world is going. So absolutely.
Okay, so where do we follow you?
So I, Keys with Kevin, that's my YouTube channel.
Of course. Come on. Keys, I can't forget that. That was,
God. Well, I'm glad you say that, because I thought that was quite silly, but I'm happy that you like it. So
I do.
Keys with
I won't
Kevin.
forget it.
And then Kevin Mareverwa, that's my Granville Homes page. So.
And you do work with people to design their dream home at the ground level if they're like, this is what I want.
We definitely work with them, but very good question, Sparkle, and it's very important to make this very, very, very clear. We are a semi-custom developer. Okay. That means that we are limited to our existing floor plans. Okay. So we typically do not add full structural changes, or you want to add an additional room or all of that. That's just too much, and we don't do that. So we stick to our existing floor plans. However, the configuration of the inside of the home, things like, I want a wall, I don't want it open, I want a French door.
I want jets in my little hot tub in my room, my bedroom.
Things like that that we could probably do.
Okay.
But if you're on the market for a full custom home, then I've got great news. Ventana Hills, which is amazing for custom homes. Minimum is 2 acres, so everybody's in 2 acres and above.
Okay.
That's my recommendation to go to if you want a full custom home. You can get just the land from us and get a contractor of your choice to do the build.
Wow, so you really do have everything.
We do. We try. Now, I want to say I've got something very exciting coming up at Copper River. It's the closest that we've gotten to a full custom home. It's a beautiful large home, 5,000 square feet, in Villa Alicante. It's a gated community at Copper River. That's going to hit the market, I want to say, within a month's time. So now it's a great time to get on the interest list for that home. It is quite something. As I said, it's the closest we've come to a full custom home. It's got some amazing upgrades in it, and it's a must-see.
Oh my goodness! So when's that that we can come see that?
We are a month away from completion, but I'm happy to take an interest list.
Are you gonna have are you guys gonna have an opening, a viewing?
Oh yes, yeah.
Okay,
so once we're done, it's still under construction.
So if we follow you, you'll let us know.
You will know. Yeah.
Okay. And Keys with Kevin, that's also for Instagram and Facebook as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So
you find me.
YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, and then you guys will show us all the stuff that's happening.
Yes, and TikTok. Yeah, all the platforms.
Oh, that is so cool. Well, I can't wait to see it. So, I'm assuming you live in a Granville home?
No, unfortunately not. Unfortunately not.
Soon.
No, not yet anyway.
They haven't built you the right home, Kevin.
Maybe so. But hey, you could say I do, because my office is in a Granville home and I spend more time there than I do at home.
I'm sure you do. Thank you so much for coming on my show.
Well, thank you for having me, Sparkle, and lovely to meet you in person.
I know, finally. It was finally a long time in the making.
Yes, so we have a mutual friend, Mona Cummings, of course, but we've got someone else, George Osborne.
Yes.
Mr. Fresno.
My boyfriend.
Well, I'll tell you a little story. So not too long ago, a few months ago, George and I and another friend of mine, Lena Fisher, who's a leading realtor as well in this town, we got selected to do American Dream real estate.
Really?
Yeah, and have cameras follow us everywhere. And Lena did it, and I think George did it as well. Unfortunately, I decided not to do it because I work for a developer. It just didn't make enough sense for me to do it that way. But yeah, that's where I know your boyfriend from.
Well, what a small world. That's awesome.
It is a small world, and he is Mr. Fresno. So
do you have a video of that?
Of that, I think it was on a Zoom call thing that we did. Yeah. But yeah, they sent us a note to say, hey, you've been selected to do this, and I think he went on to actually do it.
Right on.
Yeah, so that's where I know him from, Mr. Fresno.
Well, you know everybody. You are the man, Kevin.
And now I can add you to that list.
I love that. Thank you so much for coming on my show today.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful, and I love everything. I love the setup here.
Conversion, software version 7.0. Looking at life through the eyes of a tired heart, and eating seeds as a pastime activity. The toxicity of our city, Yo, how do you want the world? How do you want to sort our disorder? Now, somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Disorder is order. For the fires, loud neighbors, flashlight rivers caught in the headlights of a truck, and eating seeds as a pastime activity. The toxicity of our city. Yo, how do you want the world? How do you want disorder and disorder? Now, somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Disorder is order. Disorder. Now, somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Somewhere between the sacred silence and sleep. Disorder. All right. Became the sun, I shone life into the man's hearts. When I became the sun, I shone life into the man's hearts. All right.
Standing at this liquor store, whiskey coming through my pores, feeling like I run this whole block. Lotto tickets cheap, babe, that's why you can catch me here, trying to scratch my way up to the top. Cause my job got me going nowhere, so I ain't got nothing to lose. Take me to a place where I don't care, it's just me and my liquor store blues. pain, one track from my sorrow. I'll get messed up today, I'll be okay tomorrow. Me and my guitar tonight, singing to the city lights, trying to leave with more than what I've got. Cause 68 cents ain't gonna pay the rent, so I'll be out here till they call the cops. Cause my job got me going nowhere, so I ain't got nothing to lose. Take me to a place where I don't care, it's just me and my liquor store blues. I'll take one shot for my pain, one track for my sorrow. I'll get messed up today, I'll be okay tomorrow. I'll take one shot for my pain, one track for my sorrow. I'll get messed up today, I'll be okay tomorrow. Give me this one shot for my pain, one drag for my sorrow. I'll get messed up today, I'll be okay tomorrow. I'll take one shot for my pain, one drag for my sorrow. I'll get messed up today, I'll be okay tomorrow.
Okay, guys, so how long have you been a band?
Like a year and a half, maybe about a year and a half.
And you just came in on it.
I just recently joined in early January.
Wow, okay, so where were you guys playing before? I know he's been in some bands. We've had him over here. So tell us a little bit about your band history.
Oh, I've been a musician here in the Valley for a few years now, me and Galen, and we decided to join Chill-X here. Ray reached out to us in October of 2022, and things weren't working out. We had a project schedule problems, but we came back in September, and well, here we are rocking out.
And you guys are playing everywhere these days, right?
Everywhere. Playing Club One Casino, playing Skyline, playing Backyard Social. We're playing Fulton 55 next Friday. Summer Fox, Fulton 55. We played at Art Hop last week. Yeah, we got a pretty busy schedule.
Okay, so it's you two guys, and then you guys were a band prior to this. It was you, the four of you, right? Yes. And then we have a saxophonist as well, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then, who started the whole sound? And we're like, we're going to use these instruments. We're going to be a reggae band. Whose
This
idea?
guy right here.
It was you, the brainchild. You're the furthest away. Okay. So what was the idea behind this?
So I wanted to start a reggae band, and then we just ended up playing songs that we enjoy and other people enjoy as well.
I love that. And then, did you guys all know the style of music that you guys were going to play? You guys were all in agreement, or you guys kind of learned some stuff? Because this is new for you. This is a new genre for you, right?
Yes. Yeah, so we started off reggae, but it's changed. It's changed since then.
Rock, pop, reggae, like, yeah. I don't know how we decide on songs. It's kind of just
Yeah, whatever.
If we all get excited about something, then we end up doing it.
Yeah.
And you know, System of a Down's my favorite band, so that was a great choice. And so you guys are playing, the next event is Friday night?
Friday the 22nd, Fulton 55.
Friday the 22nd, Fulton 55, and then what else is the lineup after that? We have Summer Fox. Skyline.
Yes. And then we have Summer Fox.
So are you guys good about putting all of this on your social media?
Yes.
You guys were great. Okay, follow us on
Instagram.
Instagram. We're Chill-X the band.
Chill-X band on Instagram.
I need to know who came up with the name.
That's right.
So my kids came up with the name.
Because they were chilling. What's the X? You got to tell me some more background on that.
So it's actually a name that they named their pet leopard gecko, and I ended up borrowing the name for our band.
So we're named after a gecko.
So where is Chill, the real Chill? Alex? I guess this is going to be your mascot now, right?
One day he escaped into our backyard.
Oh, oh my goodness. And so if we want to book you, are you guys opening to doing private parties, stuff like that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And then we could just go to your website and go to like the Instagram, Facebook for Chillax, the band. So who got this beautiful?
My cousin. My cousin's a saxophone player. He's not here today because he's in another band, but that's why he couldn't make it, right? I don't know. He couldn't make it today, but he reached out to me, I think, a little late January, and he told me how the female vocalist had backed out. And he knows that I sing because he's my older cousin, so he asked me if I could join, and I said yeah, because I love singing, and it was an opportunity, and it's been really great so far, actually.
And there's a lot of you. How do you guys all get along? That's like this is a really big band. Did it just all worked out?
I think there's 9 of us with everybody.
Yeah.
And you guys all get the same schedule to be like, okay, we're gonna play Friday night. We're all gonna be off.
A lot of group texts.
Yeah,
A lot of
lots
group
of group
texting.
texts.
my whole texting app is just different group texts from this band.
Oh my goodness! But you guys make it work. So where's like the farthest you guys have traveled to play so far?
They've invited us to go.
Yeah.
Kings Canyon. Kings Canyon. Or Kings Fair. Kings Fair.
Hanford, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you guys played there?
Yeah.
Right on. What about the fair here this year?
I think we're gonna play this year. We played last year, but are they? I think they're
Oh,
coming
so you
back.
did? Right on. Okay, I was there. But so you were playing on the stage that
We
was
were on
on.
the beer pavilion, the like covered beer pavilion.
Yeah, that's where I was working. So I probably urged you guys. And was
I've
just
always
like,
wanted to do that.
oh well, this is gonna be the year.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was fun. That was a good show.
Well, right. So then, do you guys also do requests? If people have requests for certain songs?
If we know it, yeah, sure. That has happened successfully once or twice, maybe.
It's like they're requesting reggae songs.
Oh my god.
Yeah, if it's a reggae song and it's popular in its genre, then we pretty much know it. So old school Marley, Revolution, other stuff like that, and then like this Toxicity song, we put our different little flair on it. So we're making it work.
That's really cool. I didn't even know you were cool enough to know like Toxicity. Now I learned anything about it. I'm sorry, we give Juan a hard time, but this is my favorite band that Juan has been with so far. So, well, yeah. I mean, so is it growing? There's 9 of you. Was there another instrument you guys are gonna have?
We could fit more on the stage.
We got a saxophonist and a flautist, and we probably want to add a trumpet and maybe a trombone. Who knows? So I would like to have a full horn section, but we'll see if timing and everything works out.
Did you think it was going to grow to this when you wanted to do this?
It started off with just 3 of us, so I never expected it to grow this big.
And the great thing is you guys all seem to like each other. You all get along.
Yeah, we do very well.
And the music flows well and everything. So are you guys ever going to do any original pieces?
We have some, but yeah.
Are they not out?
Good
really
question.
You guys have created some, but you haven't really put it out there. Is that?
We used to play some originals, and it's almost so much easier to just play cover stuff. But I mean,
Just 'cause
this
what
me
the
speaking
people
for
love,
myself.
yeah.
I'm sure we should probably do some originals in the future.
Yeah, Nathan wrote a song, and we've been performing the song at probably half the places we play at.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome!
Next time we'll play.
Next time, I look forward to hearing it. Well, you guys rock on. Thank you so much for coming on my show today.
Thank you so much for having us. It was very fun.
Thank you, Sparkle.
Everything sparkle.
Everything Sparkle.
Felt right in the moment, felt right in the summertime. It felt right drinking cherry wine with you. I just wanted to own it, just wanted to take the time, learn all the things that I could about you. Now it's such a mess here, oh we are just stressed here. Used to be so easy with you. Now I must confess here, oh I must confess dear, don't think I'm in love with you. Winter is coming and I don't know what to do, and there's no more use in running, no more running to you. And I don't want your loving, I don't wanna be just friends, knowing all this time we were playing.
It's a mystery.
Hi, I'm Sparkle Sujin, and I am the host of the Everything Sparkle Show. I would like to invite you to come and hang out with me every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern, as I interview the world one guest at a time. Everything Sparkle is available on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and CMAC.tv. Plus, if you're in the Central California area, you can watch on Comcast Xfinity Channel 93 or AT&T UVerse Channel 99. Hope to see you there.
I've been in the industry for 10 years, and I've seen a lot of shifts in the market over those 10 years. Prior to that, I was a deputy sheriff for Fresno County and served 15 years where I was medically retired after being shot in the line of duty. I had tried lending for a while and I did not really enjoy that as much, but being with the people, that's what I really did enjoy. So taking them from sometimes people that aren't sure if they can even afford a home and showing them how they can leverage their time and their money, fix their credit, and get them to the point that they can now go out and purchase a home. And buying your first home, much less any other home at any given time, is a tremendous feeling of accomplishment, because I truly believe we still have the American dream, and to be able to help people achieve that, that just fills me with so much pride, and I feel fulfilled as well as successful. There's two different things. You know, you have what you can afford on paper and then your comfort level, because your lifestyle and what you live like and what you want to be able to do does matter. We don't want you to be house poor and pocket rich, or vice versa, where you're just like, man, I cannot afford the monthly payments. So pairing that up with what your goals is extremely important, and getting below the surface level to understand why we're doing what we're doing. And in order for you to do that, you really have to know the people, you have to get to talk to them, and they really have to trust you. Once you've built that bond and they trust you going forward, then you work together as a team so that you're not having conflict going through the process. When purchasing or selling a home, it's the biggest transaction most people will have in their life. What I do is I come in and I try and take all the stress off you. Allow me to take on the stress so you can relax. Yeah, people ask me about my car all the time. I have Mr. Fresno plastered across the side on both sides, big, huge lettering. It goes front to back. That's very interesting. When I first put it on there, of course, I was a little nervous, let's be honest. But as I started driving around, people would continually ask me, what is Mr. Fresno? A lot of times people, I found out, will even Google it. And what that does is it boosts me up in the higher rankings. So when you look up Fresno real estate or you look up Mr. Fresno, I'm always in the top 3. I can take somebody that I barely met, don't know anything about them, and by the end of it, we're friends and we're being invited over for coffees afterwards, and I maintain those relationships because I truly believe it's a relationship business, not selling home business. The idea is that no matter what, you want to leave people feeling that they were heard and that they matter. And so that's what I try and do with each person. So about 2 years ago, this mother of 2 children, single mother of 2 children, was a vet, and she had never purchased a home. Her entire life has been spent renting. She was paying quite a bit amount, and so when she talked to me, we started just talking the idea of it. I was like, do you realize how much money you're spending per year that you're giving away building? You're still purchasing a home, it's just you're purchasing somebody else's home for them and their children. So we explained how the process was, we broke it down, and we went searching. And once we finally got into a place where she could, she was like, I can't believe that here I am, this age, she was older, and she says that I'm barely buying my first house, but she felt so accomplished that she's doing it. 2 years later, she made quite a bit of equity off of it, and now she's selling it. And so she called me and says, George, I'm ready to move forward with other plans in my next level in the future. So we're selling the home now. But what was really cool is the other weekend, she needed to move. And she didn't have anybody to help. I asked her if she needed anything, she said no, but I found out that she had nobody to help her. So me and a couple guys just drove up. We showed up on her moving day while her truck was out there, and she started crying because we showed up. And that's the type of relationship I want to build. No matter what, from start to finish and thereafter, they can call me and I'll be there. Mr. Fresno, as I go in there and I say, hey, I'm not just George Osborne, I'm Mr. Fresno. I'm a designated local expert with the DLE network, selected out of thousands of applicants that applied for the same city name, but they chose me. Why did they choose me? They choose me because I get my clients the most favorable terms in the shortest amount of times for the most amount of money. Those are the 3 basic things. So why am I Mr. Fresno? I was born and raised here. I raised a family here. I've worked here as a deputy sheriff. I've given back to the community and various organizations, volunteer work, and I love watching the community grow. I want it to be a healthy environment for future families as well as my own family to have a homestead, to be able to grow, own homes, and prosper.